World Design Congress 2025. Thrilled to be here with you today. As Thomas Mann once wrote, that which is truly beautiful is that which exists despite all the train chaos this morning, you all made it here, so well done. And when we talk about design, we often think about objects, chairs, tables, computers. But when we talk about planetary design, which is the theme of this Congress, what we're really talking about is systems design. The invisible systems that underpin our daily lives. Energy, food, finance, and of course underpinning all of them, water. And today, what I'd like to do is take you on a journey through two systems, finance and water, and two interventions that I've been very proud to co-found. Now, if you want to understand how unsuited our finance industry is towards the kind of planetary design that we need to course correct, do nothing better than have a great world-changing idea and go out and try and raise some money. You'll quickly run into reality because it's an autoimmune system that pushes back against new ideas. Of course, the system itself is designed to maintain a status quo. And any idea that's worthy of its name is going to threaten that status quo. The finance industry today finances fossil fuels and subsidizes them 10 times more than all renewable energies in 2025. And how many of you have money sitting in a retail bank, earning little or no interest, and investing in things that you probably don't agree with? Fortunately, there are some cracks showing through where the sunlight gets in. And one of those cracks began right here in the UK with a venture called Abundance. The idea was radical in its simplicity. What if local councils and citizens co-invested in the future of their communities? Investing in community projects, giving fair returns to investors and growing local infrastructure. One example of this is in Bristol City Council, where the council funded, together with the community, a solar project on the roof of a children's respite centre in Bristol. Now imagine this not being funded by some distant hedge fund, but by the very teachers and people in the local community who walk by the centre every single day. The centre saves money on energy, the council frees up budget for frontline services, and the community earns itself a fair return. This is what I call a healthy loop. It's a shared vision, capital that is both patient and engaged, and a design that multiplies value across the system. Now, stretch your imaginations forward. It's 2040. And imagine councils across the UK working in this way, where communities and the local councils and institutions are co-investors in resilience. Children growing up in neighborhoods that are greener, healthier, and designed not just for them, but with them. And this isn't some utopian idea. It's actually system design. But if finance is one story, and these are some examples of councils doing this today. And if finance is one story, water is another, albeit they're deeply, deeply connected. Because by 2040, water will be underpinning many of the system collapses that the world will be facing. Food system collapses, communities and migration, even data is underpinned by water. So let me take you to Virginia, where I've been living for the past year. 70% of the world's internet traffic flows through Virginia. It's literally the beating digital heart of our planet. And yet, those data centers, each hyperscale data center that supports that flow of data through our world is using massive amounts of water. High quality water is used to cool data centers, and whether they're air-cooled or whether you have cooling on the chip, is vast amounts of energy and water that's used. For example, a 50 megawatt data center, a hyperscale data center, uses about an Olympic-sized swimming pool of water, of potable water, every single day for its operations. That's enough drinking water for 12,000 people a day. It's quite extraordinary. But that's a 50 megawatt data center. The data centers that are being built now are 1 megawatt, 2 megawatts. In fact, the Stargate data center being built now in Texas is a 15 gigawatt data center. 15 gigawatts, that uses as much water that you can imagine for hundreds and hundreds, even of thousands of people, and even millions of people. So here's the paradox. We can't build data centers fast enough. But the very systems that sustain our data centers, water and energy, are draining the very resources that sustain our civilization. And those are the many pools. Now, I'm going to take you back in time a little bit. Not to Virginia or to Texas, but to my own garden in South India, where I've been living for a few years, working at an amazing NGO run by Sabriya Tenberken. Working with blind, budding social entrepreneurs who come from all over the world for a one-year leadership program. My friend had told me about it, and I was on a plane a week later. I said, I'll give you a year. So it was there in India, in my garden, that together with my co-founder in Desolenator, William Jansen, that we asked ourselves a very simple question. Why can we not harvest solar energy more efficiently from solar PV panels? Solar PV panels are only ever going to convert about 30% of the potential energy that hits them. What about the other 70%? It's lost as heat. So we started experimenting with that basic insight in mind, where not only we would take the electricity as you normally would from solar, but we ran water behind the panels. And as the panel gets hot, actually normally the efficiency goes down, we would turn that into hot water. So that was the basic insight. And we experimented in my garden, and you see some shots of that up here. So the basic insight was you get 15% of energy from solar in electricity, you can get another 45% of energy from heat, from waste heat. Now, that small experiment became Desolenator. And today, we're building industrial-scale green-blue technologies to address the water crisis. This is a modular system that we've developed, where one module gives you up to 1 million liters of clean water per day, and you can add multiple modules. We take the energy from solar based on that initial insight that we had, but we supplement that with waste heat. That could be a generator, it could be a data center, it could be geothermal energy, real waste heat that normally is rejected. And then we can take seawater, brackish water, industrial wastewater, and convert it in a clean way into high-quality potable water, without harmful chemicals, without fossil fuels, and importantly, without waste brine. This last piece is so exciting because today, with desalination, you have a waste brine, it's full of loads of nasty chemicals, and those end up either back in the sea or getting injected back into the ground. It's truly, truly unsustainable. But because Desolenator uses a thermal process, we're actually able to recycle that brine through our system, to ultra-concentrate it from the energy from the sun and from waste heat, and to turn it into a thick, salty soup that we then crystallize and make into a salt that can then be sold. Zero brine, not an incremental step. And now we have plants coming in, we've been building in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and we've got projects now coming in India, which will be announced very soon, Malaysia, and the USA. And unlike the energy industry, where we move from having centralized coal plants to having solar on your roof, that never happened in the water industry. So by complementing large-scale water infrastructure with smaller distributed systems like Desolar, actually what you're doing is creating resilience. And for Desolanator, transforming photons from the sun into water and cooling with zero brine is a system design intervention. So how does this relate to data centers? Well, imagine you're designing a new hyperscale data center in Texas where it's super hot and you need vast amounts of energy and water for cooling. Instead of draining the local water supply and having an uncertain future attached to that, you can tap into a local brackish water, industrial wastewater, or seawater. We then, through Desolenator, turn that into an ultra-pure water that, using the rejected heat from the data center, plus solar energy, plus geothermal energy, and then using the other side of heat pumps to chill that water and feed it into the data center. So the data center's cooled sustainably. Plus, from the same installation, you've now got millions of liters of fresh water that can go into the new community or for other businesses. And even better, the waste brine becomes usable as a salt that you can sell, not an environmental liability. This isn't just a solution. This is system design, a loop where what was once waste becomes value. And in a world of hyperscale AI data centers, where what was once water scarcity can also become abundance. So whether it's citizens co-investing with councils in the UK, or data centers in Texas becoming net new water contributors, the pattern is the same. Planetary design starts with having a clarity of insight, seeing the system as it is, and then identifying what design interventions you can make that have the potential to scale. Not only because they become more sustainable, but also because they can be bankable and actually better solutions for businesses. And I really encourage you to reflect on the words that a mentor once told me: let the river take its course. And over the next couple of days, whether you're designers, policymakers, researchers, please think about that clarity of insight on the system as it is, and then think about those interventions that have the capability to scale, and how do we nourish them? And then let the river take its course. Thank you very much.